Hello, friends. I've worked for 5 government agencies, and on my very first day at each one, I took inventory of where the cash is. One city had 100% of all cash in the checking account. Now, we wouldn't do that in our personal lives. We'd earn some interest on something. Another city had a sensible checking balance and everything else in the state's investment pool. That was legal, but it wasn't optimal. However, it was probably smart given staff's level of investment training. And that's exactly what these videos are for. For those learning how to invest taxpayer money, today's first lesson is right up front. If you get nothing else from this video, please hear this. Your checking is your safety, your investment pool is your liquidity, and your investments are your yield. To invest prudently, we have to make sure our safety and liquidity is assured. Government investing boils down to 3 words: safety, liquidity, and yield, in that order. Your investment policy says so, and so do your state statutes. Safety of taxpayer money is your first priority, and liquidity is next. In order to exercise good stewardship and have taxpayer money actually earn interest, you have to be certain you'll never have to sell an investment at a loss, for less than you paid for it or less than the face value you'd get if you held it to maturity. That said, I'm a big fan of putting money in a government investment pool because, just like at home, checking earns no interest, and it makes sense to manage well so that some does. While we might want to buy 5-year CDs to make more interest, we need a money market account that earns a little interest where we can withdraw if we need to. Where you put your money in an LGIP, look at where the pool itself invests. No government invests taxpayer money where principal can be lost. Treasuries and agencies will be the majority of the pool. That's exactly what you'd likely invest in. Those have the highest safety ratings in terms of credit quality due to federal backing. That means that your money is not only not subject to corporate credit risk, but it's safe to the extent that the entire United States federal government is. U.S. Treasuries are the world's benchmark for safety. LGIPs offer next-day withdrawal by wire transfer. That's plenty liquid. That's also appropriate if you're not ready or reluctant to invest, locking money to earn fixed income for many months or years. With checking for safety and an investment portfolio for yield, the seasonal fluctuation in cash can ebb and flow in LGIP. This is the single most valuable use of an investment pool. You may have seasonal fluctuation in your income, holiday sales tax, those 2 months that your property tax always comes in, that sort of thing. And you may have seasonal expenditures due to weather or debt schedules or whatever. Just like a money market, this is where you can have variability. Checking always covers your payables and payroll, and you want your investment portfolio to be worry-free. Put your liquidity in your state pool. LGIPs have their own incentive to serve their states by earning yield, having assured their safety and liquidity. Piggybacking on that earns your money the same yield. Better yield than checking. If your agency just keeps higher seasonal balances, depositing an LGIP earns interest. Now pay attention to the investment pool's average maturity. If the pool has an average maturity of about a month, they're buying 60-day investments, which isn't very far up the yield curve. And more importantly, when rates go up or down, by knowing the average maturity of the pool, you'll know how quickly your interest will go up or down as the pool investments mature and are reinvested. This is not the best reason, but it's the most frequent reason small governments put their money in an investment pool. If your agency has little or no staff resources, your state's LGIP does, and you can harness their expertise. This isn't much different than outsourcing your investment management to those you think know better than you do. But if you don't have confidence or knowledge or experience, this is a safe way to go until you do. But it's no substitute for you learning, and it's no excuse, and it's certainly not a long-term strategy. Become trained. Same goes for external investment management. You can outsource the execution, but you're still responsible for your local taxpayers' money on deposit. Take inventory. If your agency doesn't have the historical trend of cash balances month by month for 5 years or so, you need to create it. Start now. I use 3 categories that coincide with safety, liquidity, and yield. This is worth repeating. Cash in your checking account is your safety. A sufficient balance will always prevent bouncing checks. Long-term investments, such as a laddered portfolio of treasuries and agencies, is where you invest for yield. Your LGIP balance is where your liquidity is, and that's where you want to keep your ebb and flow of seasonal changes. Ultimately, you want to invest for yield, but before you ever start, you want to have confidence knowing that month in and month out, your liquidity is covered. So by putting money in your LGIP, you're developing the experience you need to have confidence to invest long-term for yield. Chances are your agency's investment policy already authorizes you to put money in your local government investment pool. But don't guess. You have a responsibility to make sure. And the same governing authority that approves your agency investment policy also approves the interlocal agreement with the investment pool. Be sure and watch my next video, which will be on why you should not give all your money to your local government investment pool. But for all the reasons I've just listed, a government investment pool definitely has a place in an overall strategy. Please invest in yourself. Learn how to take responsibility for your agency's investment policy, strategy, and procedures. By learning basic foundational investment best practices, you'll serve your agency better and the people whose money you're managing. The best way to be a more valuable public servant is to decide to seek the good of others, not yourself, putting others first. Our success lies in helping others succeed. This video aims to help you because it's your efforts that will contribute to the success of your city and make it a better place. Thanks for watching.